Am I the a-hole for canceling the check I wrote for my niece's tuition after my sister badmouthed me? I, 36F, have a younger sister, Emily, 34F. Emily has an 18-year-old daughter, my niece Sarah, who just started college this year. For context, I'm single, no kids, and I have a solid career with a good salary. Emily, on the other hand, has had a tougher life. She had Sarah young, is a single mom, and money has always been tight for her. I've always tried to help out when I can because I love them both to death. When Sarah got into a good college, we were all super proud, but tuition is expensive, even with scholarships. My parents aren't well off, and Emily couldn't cover it alone. So I made an offer. As a graduation gift to my niece, I would pay for her first year of college, tuition, room, and board. It was roughly $25,000 total. It was a big chunk of money for me, but I had savings and I really wanted to do this for her. When I told them, both Emily and Sarah cried and thanked me 1,000 times. I won't lie, it felt really good to be able to help like that. I paid the first semester, $13,000, directly to the school without issue. A couple weeks ago, I wrote a check for the second semester, $12,000, and gave it to my sister to handle the university bills semester by semester, and the payment needed to be from a specific account in her name. Long story, boring admin stuff. Fast forward to a family dinner at my parents' house a few days after I handed her the check. It was me, my parents, Emily, and a couple of cousins. Sarah is out of state at school, so she wasn't there. After dinner, I walked into the kitchen and overheard Emily talking to our mom and a cousin. She didn't know I was there. I heard her say, "I'm not going to keep groveling to my name every time we need money." She acts like she's saving the day, but she just does it so she can brag about it later. My mom mumbled something and Emily continued, "She loves playing the hero. Having money makes her think she gets to control us. I'm sick of it." I was stunned. I must have made a noise because they went quiet and my mom looked like a deer in headlights. Emily turned around and saw me. She went pale and was like, "Oh, you weren't supposed to," or something pathetic. I just said, very calmly, "Wow, good to know how you really feel," and walked out to grab my purse. Emily followed, stammering that she didn't mean it like that, and, "Wait, let's talk." I told her, "Not now. I can't even look at you," and I left. On the drive home, I was shaking. I was so angry and, yes, hurt. This wasn't the first time I'd heard of her saying stuff like this about me either. Over the years, I'd gotten little whispers that Emily thought I was a show-off or thought I was better than her because of my career. I always let it slide to keep peace, but hearing it so bluntly when I was literally helping her and my niece, it broke something in me. That night I couldn't sleep. By morning I was done. If she resents me that much, fine, I won't burden her with my horrible controlling money any longer. I called my bank as soon as it opened and stopped payment on the tuition check. It hadn't been cashed yet. I didn't tell Emily. I figured she'd find out soon enough. Well, she did. A few days later, I got a barrage of furious texts from her, saying the check bounced and asking if I Geen canceled it. She said the tuition deadline was coming up, and what the hell was she supposed to do now? Maybe don't bite the hand that feeds? Just a thought. I didn't respond immediately. I needed time to cool off. I did call my niece, though. That was rough. I basically told Sarah that I had a falling out with her mom and that the money was in question right now. She was obviously shocked and upset. I reassured her that she had done nothing wrong and this wasn't her fault. She asked me what happened. I just told her that her mom said some very hurtful things about me, and I found out. Sarah, to her credit, sounded angry at her mom. She was like, "She what? Why?" I told her I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but that I loved her and I would figure something out so she wouldn't be screwed for the semester. I just needed a little time. She was crying. I was almost crying. It was awful. After that, I felt a bit calmer and finally called Emily back. The call immediately descended into a screaming match. She accused me of hurting her daughter to get back at her. I told her she had some nerve playing the victim after what I heard. She kept saying I took it out of context, or I wasn't supposed to hear that, blah blah. I told her that made it worse. She was only nice to me when I could do something for her, and trashing me behind my back. She yelled that she was just venting, that she was frustrated feeling like a charity case, and she didn't mean it. I replied, "Well, now you're not a charity case. You're welcome." She absolutely lost it at that, saying I was being petty and vindictive and how dare I pull out after committing to Sarah. I told her, "You brought this on yourself. You don't want my help? Fine, you don't get it." And I hung up when she continued screaming. Now the fallout has spread to the whole family. My mom is upset at both of us, but mostly at me for yanking the funds so suddenly. She keeps saying, "I know Emily was wrong to say that, but you should have just talked it out. Sarah shouldn't pay the price for this." My mom wants me to fix it for Sarah's sake. She's also convinced that we can mend this if I just pay and then maybe discuss boundaries with Emily later. I'm not feeling that vibe at all. My dad, while disappointed in Emily, also thinks I should still pay for Sarah this year. And keep our word, and then not help again if I don't want to. He said something like, don't cut off your nose to spite your face. You wanted to help Sarah. Help her. Don't make her a casualty of you two fighting. I get it. I really do. Believe me, the last thing I want is to hurt my niece. She's innocent in this, and doesn't deserve any of it. I don't want her to have to take out emergency loans, or, God forbid, drop out for a semester because of this. That thought makes me feel sick. On the other hand, I feel like if I give in and pay now, I'm basically telling my sister that what she said is okay. That she can treat me like garbage and I'll still write big checks because family. It would be like swallowing poison and smiling just to keep the peace. Part of me is so angry and prideful right now that I almost want to say, screw it, you're on your own, even if it makes things hard for Sarah. I haven't decided yet what to do about the tuition. The deadline is looming, so I have to soon. Maybe I could pay it directly to the school to bypass Emily and make it clear I'm doing it for Sarah, not her. Or maybe I stick to my guns and let Emily figure out alone. Neither option sits great in my soul at the moment. Emily, for what it's worth, has not apologized directly to me, aside from a half-assed, I'm sorry you heard that but you weren't supposed to, which, BQH. She's mostly gone silent except to rage that I'm ruining Sarah's life. My niece and I texted yesterday and I told her no matter what happens with the money, I'm here for her, like if she needs a place to stay or books or whatever. She said she understands, but I know she's stressed and probably disappointed in me to some degree, even if she's too sweet to say it. This whole thing is just a mess. I hate that a generous act blew up like this. I hate that my sister apparently resents me. I hate that my relationship with my niece is now strained. And I hate that I'm the bad guy in the eyes of some for reacting the way I did. So unbiased strangers of the internet, AITA, for canceling the check and pulling my support after my sister badmouthed me? Should I eat the insult and pay for my niece's tuition anyway because it's not her fault? Or was I justified in standing up for myself and setting this boundary, even though it's ugly? Update 1. 1 week later, I'm back with an update, and unfortunately it's a doozy. First off, thank you to everyone who commented. I actually didn't expect the post to get so much attention. Reading the replies was eye-opening. A lot of you said I was in the right, or at least that my anger was justified, but a lot also said I'd be an asshole if I let my niece's education suffer. Some even said ESH, everyone sucks here, which, ouch, but I kinda get it. It was hard to hear, but it made me think. After posting, I decided to try one more time to resolve this, mainly for Sarah's sake. I didn't want to regret not at least attempting a compromise. So I reached out to Emily and suggested we meet up at our parents' house to talk, just the two of us, and neutral ground. She agreed, somewhat surprisingly. The meetup was intense. I told her outright that I would pay the tuition by the deadline on 2 conditions. 1. She apologizes sincerely for what she said and acknowledges how hurtful and unfair it was. 2. We set up a plan for Sarah's future tuition that doesn't involve me, so this situation doesn't repeat, whether that's loans, her saving more, whatever. Emily's reaction was not what I hoped. She bristled at the word conditions. She said, I shouldn't have to grovel to you and sign a contract to get you to keep your promise. I said it wasn't groveling to apologize for bad behavior. That set her off. She yelled, fine, I'm sorry, all right? I shouldn't have said that stuff, but you weren't supposed to hear it. You know I was just venting. It sounded so not apologetic. More like she was annoyed she got caught. I stayed calm and said, look, I'm trying here. You really hurt me, Emily. Do you actually understand that? She just stared at the floor and shrugged. Yeah, I get it, I'm sorry. It was the flattest apology ever. Then I brought up the second point, planning for future tuition. She immediately got defensive, saying, so you're gonna hold this over us every year now? Forget it. We'll figure something out. I don't need your charity. I was like, Jesus, this isn't about holding it over you. It's about being realistic. You clearly resent me paying, so let's come up with another plan going forward. She was just shaking her head and muttering how unbelievable I was. At this point, I felt the whole thing slipping away. I said, Emily, I'm literally offering to pay what I promised for this year. I just want to clear the air between us and not have this animosity. Please. I don't want Sarah to get screwed. But I also won't be insulted like that without some sort of acknowledgement. She suddenly snapped. You know what? No, I don't want your money. Forget it. I was kind of shocked. I asked, what about Sarah? This is about her, not us. She said, I'll take care of it. I'll figure it out. I don't want anything from you. Enjoy your money. Her tone was so bitter and cold. I think I said something like, this is so stupid. You're willing to hurt your own daughter just to spite me? And she fired back. I'm not hurting her. You already did by pulling your stunt. I'll get a loan or something. We'll manage. Just stay out of our lives. By then, we were both crying angry tears. I told her, I was trying to fix this for Sarah, but I can't do this if you won't even meet me halfway. She basically told me to get out and that she didn't need my drama anymore. So I left. Mom was hovering in the next room. Of course she was. She tried to talk to me as I was leaving, saying she'd talk to Emily, that we both need to calm down. I told Mom that I tried, and it blew up, and I can't do any more right now. Mom was crying too by the end, begging me not to give up on my sister. It was heartbreaking. After I left my parents' house, I got a text from Emily. It was a long paragraph that pretty much summed up to, she doesn't want me in her or Sarah's life anymore, and she means it this time. Implying she said stuff like that during fights before but didn't mean it? I don't know. I didn't respond. I was emotionally wrecked. I spent the rest of that night ugly crying and second-guessing everything. This is my little sister. We were super close growing up. I keep flashing back to dumb childhood memories, like us playing with Barbies or her sneaking into my room during thunderstorms. I don't know how we got here. As of now, I have not paid the tuition. The deadline is literally today. I did check in with my niece, though. She and I talked on the phone last night after the blow-up. Turns out, my parents, mostly my dad who co-signed, helped her secure a last-minute private loan for this semester. The interest is gonna suck, but at least she's covered for now. Sarah was upset about the whole thing, and said she doesn't know why her mom is being so stubborn and prideful. I tried not to crap talk her mom too much, just said that her mom and I have a lot of issues to work through. Sarah then dropped a bomb. Apparently, Emily told her that I demanded that Emily beg for forgiveness on her knees, in order for me to consider paying again. I was floored. I quickly set the record straight on what I actually said. Sarah got really quiet, and then just said, "I'm sorry, this is so messed up." We ended the call with "I love yous." I told her I'd always be here for her no matter what, and she said she wants to come visit me on spring break if that's okay. I said of course it is. So at least my niece and I are talking openly now, and she knows some of the truth. She's at school. Classes started. She's fine for this semester financially. For now. I told her to focus on school and not worry about the adults' drama as much as possible. As for Emily, we're not speaking. She doesn't know that I talked to Sarah in detail. I'm not sure how she'd feel about that, but I kinda don't care. I'm too exhausted to keep tiptoeing around her. This was a lot. It hurts like hell that things went this way. I offered an olive branch and she set it on fire. I'm trying to convince myself I did what I could. But I still feel guilty and sad, mostly for my niece and my mom. Right now I'm thinking I will continue to pay, or help pay, for my niece's education moving forward, but only through my niece or through direct payments to the school. I haven't told anyone in my family this yet, and I might not tell Emily at all. She'd probably explode over the behind her back thing, but at this point, my relationship with her is scorched earth anyway. I'm going to take a step back from all this for a bit and let everyone cool down, including myself. My plan is to keep minimal contact for now. Maybe time will help. I wish I had a happier or more satisfying update. Instead, it's just raw and sad. I'll update again down the line if anything big changes. For now, I'm just trying to hold myself together and do right by my niece as best I can. From a distance. Update 2. Final update. 3 months later. It's been a few months, and I wish I had a happy ending to share. Instead, I have what real life often gives. A mixed bag of progress, pain, and unresolved feelings. The short version, my sister and I are still estranged. My niece is doing okay and still in school, I made sure of that, but the family rift is deep. To fill in the blanks, not long after my last update, I quietly paid off the private loan my niece had to take for that semester. I didn't even tell Sarah I was doing it until after it was done. I just couldn't stand the thought of her or my parents bearing that financial burden because of this mess. I made Sarah promise not to tell her mom, which maybe wasn't the most healthy thing, but I just didn't want any more fights. Sarah agreed, though I could tell it made her uncomfortable to keep secrets. She did come visit me for a weekend during spring break. We had an amazing time, honestly. We cooked together, I took her to a show, and we talked a lot. She vented that her mom had been very tense and irritable with her ever since this all went down. Apparently Emily told her, "If you go to my name's place, don't expect to come back here," which is just, wow. Emily did let her come see me, but it caused a huge fight between them first. It's like my sister is so consumed by pride or anger that she's making her own daughter feel like she has to choose sides. During our visit, Sarah broke down crying at one point and said she hated that our family was like this now. I held it together in front of her, but I lost it after dropping her off at the airport. This is exactly what I was afraid of. A broken family. As for Emily and me, we haven't spoken directly since that disastrous meeting. We've been in the same room only once, at my dad's birthday dinner. That was ice cold. We basically ignored each other. She spoke to everyone else normally, but with me it was like I didn't exist. I tried saying hello when I arrived, and she just walked right past me. That hurt more than I expected. Mom had begged us beforehand to please behave for Dad, so I kept my mouth shut the whole night. Dad pulled me aside at one point and patted my shoulder, said something like, "Give her time." I just nodded, but inside I was thinking, how much time? And what if things are never fixed? Family gossip has, of course, spread. I know some relatives have taken sides. A couple of my aunts think I was horribly cruel to pull the payment. They heard a very skewed version from somewhere, probably from the cousin who was in the kitchen. One aunt actually called me the horrible aunt who pulled her niece's college fund to my face at a family gathering. I didn't even engage, just walked away because I was about to either scream or cry. It's jarring because in my head I'm like, I did pay in the end, and I was trying to stand up for myself. But I'm painted as this villain by some. It's an incredibly lonely feeling at times. On the positive side, if you can call it that, my relationship with Sarah remains strong. She calls me every week just to chat. Sometimes she gives me brief updates about her mom. I gather Emily is still pretty angry, but maybe a bit regretful too? Sarah said her mom saw a therapist once. My mom dragged her to it, but I don't know if she continued. I hope she does. I also started seeing a therapist to work through the anger and hurt. Yes, both sisters in therapy, if that isn't telling. It's helped some. I don't burst into tears talking about this as much as I did initially. The therapist asked me what reconciliation would look like, and honestly, I don't know. I used to imagine Emily coming to me genuinely remorseful and us hugging it out while sobbing or something, my dramatic daydream. But now, I'm not sure I even want that, or trust it. Maybe down the line. Not now. Right now I'm focusing on making sure Sarah is supported from the shadows, financially. I've already arranged with the university to pay her next semester directly. I told Sarah about it, and she eventually accepted, after I insisted. But I made her swear not to tell her mom. This secret keeping is not ideal, I know. It feels icky. But Emily left me no choice if I want to help my niece. Will we ever resolve this? I don't know. Emily's last text to me months ago said she never wanted to speak to me again. Knowing how stubborn she is, she might stick to that. Or maybe someday she'll soften. I'm not holding my breath. The saddest part is that even if we mend fences superficially, I don't know if I can ever really forget what she said and did. It's like this permanent scar on our relationship. I've lost a lot of trust and respect for her, and I hate that. My mom fluctuates between hopeful and heartbroken. She sometimes updates me on how Emily's doing. Emily asked about your job the other day, or Emily said she misses how things used to be, but I usually just respond with an "I know, me too," and change the subject. I think Mom is starting to accept that this isn't a quick fix. I know many of you were hoping I'd get an apology, or that I'd firmly be declared right in the end, but that's not how it played out. If anything, it feels like everyone lost here. I stood up for myself, yes, but in doing so I blew up a relationship that meant a lot to me. My sister's pride led her to betray me, and also to refuse my olive branch. And now she's lost me, and strained her relationship with her daughter. My niece has to tiptoe around her mom's feelings just to have her aunt in her life. My parents are beside themselves that their kids aren't speaking. It's just a big damned tragedy all around, honestly. The only silver lining I can cling to is that Sarah is doing well. She actually made the dean's list, and she's talking about maybe transferring to a school closer to me next year. That might be more about wanting distance from her mom's drama than being near me, but I'll still take it as a compliment. I told her if she does, she's welcome to live with me to save money, and I haven't even dared to bring that idea up to Emily yet. That's a battle for another day, if it happens.